Hello, race fans. We're back here once again with the BioTE Cup Series. But you know what? This is not the Cup cars here today. We're doing something a little different here. And we got a special event here. This is the Prototype Series. And this here is actually not race number one. We decided to do something like a special event here today. And let's go ahead and change that over too. But I've got... and I got Alan Bledsoe in the booth with me. Hey, Alan, what's up, buddy?
How's it going, Tony? I'm excited to get this this event started up. Got the LMP2s out there on the Autodromo Enzo Edino Ferrari circuit.
Yep.
It's gonna be a fun race to watch.
Yeah, and the thing is, this is something that we never really messed around with this before. This is like an all AI session, and like the cars, they're out there on pit road already. Well, not pit road, they're out there on track. And let's go find. There's Kelly Thomas. He's out there putting his laps down. No time for him just yet, I don't believe. Let's see how much time is left. It's a 5-minute session, so we'll go ahead and got a little bit time left. That 5-minute session, they have just enough time to maybe get in a couple of hot laps. That's why we said it that way. So take too long, you know.
It's a very, very long racetrack, that's for sure, and it takes a long time to get around.
Absolutely, and that's what's going to be a 30-lap sprint race here, and so we'll see. I actually had it set for 30. I think I might have changed it to 25 because we're talking about that, how long make the race here and stuff. But this is Thomas around. I believe this is his hot lap. Of course, there's a lot of guys back at the moment as well. So we'll follow with Kelly here, see if it's coming down the last couple of turns to the timing line, and see if he ends up having a time here.
So, I'm not seeing any numbers on the track map. Is there something going on there?
Well, that's just how it is. It's not going to show the cars until they've started a hot lap. That's why all the cars are on track. Like, see, there's Patrick Hernandez, but all these guys are basically out on a hot lap. And maybe they're out lap. I don't see any time. Let's bring up the timing tower here. Yeah, see, there's nobody's completed a hot lap yet. So really 5 minutes is only enough time to maybe do one hot lap. Yeah, it's one and done. So yeah, they got to get after it, you know. Patrick Hernandez,
yeah, they
right
might not even make it back to the line.
Yeah, you know, some guys may have to go without it. We'll see what happens. He's got Paul Vajanik there right behind him, and we're coming up on about 30 seconds to go here. And Riley Hoots got a time on the board. 134.817 for Riley. Yeah, and I know everybody was excited to see those AI drive stuff. I don't know where my AI driver picks went to. I'm gonna have to load them next time around.
So we've got the real life photos out there. That's all right.
Yeah. Is it folks say, well, we see those every week.
I mean, that's true, but
so we got the checkered flags are out, but and we got 5 guys across the line already, and I guess everybody will be able to. Well, we'll see if they complete their laps.
Yeah, it should allow everybody to complete the lap they were on. After the checkered flag flew, after the time expired.
Right. Because isn't
that's how open qualifying works?
Right. Because isn't it so? But is it also on a timer, like 2 minutes or something like that? So if you haven't completed that lap, it just sorry, you have all day to get done with that and everything.
It might be kind of like in the race, if there's a time, if it's a lapped event, iRacing will give you 2 minutes to complete that lap after the race is over, after the checkered flag flies.
Right.
So
Well,
you
McLaughlin,
lose a lap if you don't make it back around in that last 2 minutes.
yeah, so I'll make a note of that. Set qualifying for 10 minutes, because you see how quickly 5 minutes goes by, and I mean it just flew right on by.
For sure.
Right day.
But it looks like we've got Parker Parrish up on the top of the board, and Timmy Bates just got up there, and
now they
John McLaughlin has disappeared.
Yeah, because they're rolling over to the race session here now. Let me we gotta reset my graphic, because it kind of froze up on me, because it shouldn't even be there right this second. And give it a few seconds, and that'll clear out.
So only 10 cars out of 20 actually put in a qualifying lap.
Yeah, or made it to the checkered flag before the time expired. So we'll have to see how that works out, and we'll go to the blimp view. And because I'm like in a normal situation, I would be running like the national anthem, and then I switch it over myself. But I have to go out there myself and do this, so because it thinks I'm in the race. So I have to go out there and say, okay, I'm not qualifying. That'll roll the cars off. But let's go ahead and bring up that starting grid. Like you said, Parker Parrish, he's got that pole position. Alan, you're second, dude. You're right up there.
Look at that. I'm fast.
Yeah, man. Timmy Bates, Sean McLaughlin, fourth. Brendan Mathias, fifth. Riley Hoot, sixth. Kelly Thomas, seventh position. Patrick Hernandez is eighth. Ninth is Lucas Lyons. Greg Moore rounds out the top 10. Paul Bajanic, 11th. Jason Monteville in that 12th position. 13th, Matthew Wilson. Joe Nerton, 14th. 15th is, that's not right because I'm not even driving. But Ryan Cruz apparently didn't get a time yet. That's why they put him ahead of me. So Kevin Winker and James Brossiker, I would say they're 16th and 17th. But hey, we're racing here. We'll work all the tweaks out on this thing later.
Well, it looks like we've already taken the green flag.
Oh yeah, because it's not a full lap, the pace lap. And a lot of times on these road courses, even if it was real people, AI, the pace lap, they'll start you maybe halfway around the track.
Well, it looks like everybody has gotten single file going into that, into what looks to be turn 3 or 4. No, I'm sorry, I was looking at the P. That was like turn 6.
Yeah. I tell you, and one thing about these road courses, I don't have all of those. That would be cool if the track map had numbers on it. And but then again, if somebody says turn 7, they're gonna think, well, where is that at?
Yeah, you gotta look at it.
Yeah, Paris, he's off to a good start there.
Now, with this being a 30-lap race, everybody's going to have to be very patient. 60% fuel, and it's going to be a strategy race. That's for sure.
Yeah, you would think
25 lap.
Yeah, you would think it would. You would think they would have to stop. So we'll see what happens. And I've been testing these AIs on all sorts of tracks and on oval tracks, and there is a lot of what's the word I'm looking for here? It's not like everybody just comes into the pits at the same time just because they're AI. There's a lot of variation, and because there's a lot of ways you can set up these AIs and like the pit strategies, make it kind of variable.
Yeah. Well, right now Hernandez is feeling some pressure from Lucas Lyons, but Lucas has Paul Bojanic all over his back end as well.
Yeah, I tell you, there's a little bit of gap starting to form between Hernandez and Thomas. Hernandez is like he's leading that second train of cars there, and 'cause there's a 8/10 of a second between him, number 28 Thomas. You see the gap forming there, and of course, like you said, Lyons, he's right there behind Hernandez.
Boy, look how hard Lucas drove it into that corner.
Yeah, they're not playing around on it.
Yeah, it definitely cost him some speed on the exit, but he got something there. Hernandez may be holding some drivers up, but Lucas can't get around him either because, I mean, it's really difficult to pass at this circuit.
Yeah, because there's been a lot of talk about that in, like saying F1 and whatnot. Oh, looks like Lyons is getting close there. Kind of thinking about it.
Taking a look.
But he's going to run out of run out of room. And, yeah,
and just like in real life, it looks like Hernandez is backing up that corner. Hernandez is, he has a tendency to hit the brakes just a little bit early, or at least let off the throttle a little bit earlier than everybody else. But that is literally the best way to save your tires in real life racing, and in iRacing.
Right.
This is weird. Talking about AIs and real life iRacing, it's what?
But you know what? Here's the funny part. You know, it's I mean, you're looking at AI cars, but then you have real drivers driving on virtual tracks. You know, so where does the virtual side of things start and where does it end? Because there's so much mixed in with the human factor, which is neat about iRacing in the first place. You can do so much of this, real people doing this, you know?
Yeah, it's like, where is real life?
Yeah. Parker Parrish, that gap is kind of closed down a little bit now. You know, Alan, you're closing in on him there. Look like the top three there. Timothy Bates running right in there in that third position.
Yeah, those top three, they have driven away from the rest of the field. Bates is now about 0.8 of a second ahead of Sean McLaughlin. McLaughlin, the real driver of McLaughlin is a very good road course racer. I raced with him at Watkins Glen last season in the Cup Series, and boy, he is tough to beat when he doesn't make any mistakes. Now that's some of us are prone to making some of those mistakes, but hey, you know what? What of us are not?
Absolutely.
I make all kinds of mistakes too. So.
But I tell you, man, I take my hats off to the guy. You know, I'm an open wheel guy myself, and when it comes to driving stock cars or anything big and heavy like this around a road course, I just, you know, I can't get the feel of it. And my hat's off to anybody that straps up in there and gets going and goes for it. You know, whether you're good at road course or not. Or, you know, sometimes you may talk to a guy and he'll say, well, I don't really like road courses, but they're still good at driving them. You know, just their natural skill that they have. But I tell you, it's a totally different beast driving like 3,400 pounds or something, like our car would weigh, you would say. And,
oh yeah.
These are probably a little lighter, but still, you know, to sling something like this around a road course that doesn't have the same type of downforce like your other like F1 cars or the other cars that we can't mention now because there's all that other drama going on, blah blah blah. You know what that is all about.
Yeah, let's not even talk about that.
I know. Yeah, let's stay in a happy place. Oh man, back up the front there, Parker Parrish. He's still holding on there. The gap was closing a little bit.
McLaughlin and Mathia have joined the race, so now it's a top 5 separation.
Yeah.
Looks like Yeah, Mathia has a gap to Hoots behind him.
And now it's still 21 laps to go here. It makes you, and I hope I did have that thing set at 60%. I may have. I hope I did. I'd like to see them have to make some pit stops. They may make them and they may not. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll have to see. 25 laps is, I mean, sure, it's quite a bit of time, especially around this circuit. But I don't exactly know the fuel load of the LMP2s. I know at the Daytona Road Course, you can go 45 minutes. I don't even know how many laps that is.
Right. Okay.
On a full tank. That's with a full tank, 100%. But I'm not sure entirely about about 65%. It's too much math in my head.
Yeah. lead at the crew chief or whatever app you use and say, hey, how much fuel do I have? When do I need to hit or whatnot? Because a lot of this type of racing is done in minutes anyway. Like when you have the different classes out there. Is that correct? It's more so like time.
When it's multi-class. I mean, I've run 2 Daytona 24-hour races with Riley. I ran one with Patrick this year. We've run it with Jason Monteville. And this year we had Jason Batby join us and Matthew Batby. Both were on the same. We were both on the same team. Was there. Kelly Thomas, he was in that, and Joe Nerton was there as well.
Cool, man. I think I did one event like that. It was a few years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and it was me and another guy. I think we were running the 488 GTE, I think it was, and I did half the stint, and he did the other half, and but yeah, that was pretty fun.
Yeah, they are. Those 24-hour races are so much fun. I don't know. It's amazing watching the sun rise after a really long night of racing.
How long are you actually? How many guys was in the team? Was it?
So we had 2 race cars. We were in LMP2, the LMP2 class. So it was the second. This year it was the second fastest class. But we had 2 cars. 4 of us were on one team. 4 of us were on the other, and then we split the sessions into 3 hours. So each of us did 3-hour stints, and we did it twice.
I tell you, that's I've done in the real world. I've done some go-kart endurance racing, and we had about 4 or 5 people on our team. So we'd split it up into about 45 minutes, because I think it was only I want to say it was a 6-hour event, and so we split it up into either an hour or 45 minutes stints between the drivers. I'm gonna swap out and stuff. But man, I tell you, it's any type of endurance racing. That's you get your adrenaline going, boy. I tell you.
Oh yeah, for sure. I will say, watching these cars get around the track, they are a lot better than, well, they're even better at getting in around the track than Matthew Batby was. And you remember, based on last season, how fast Matthew Batby is and how talented he is.
Right.
They are, these AI cars are quick.
Yeah, now I don't have them set to like superhuman or settings, and there's a way. If you did that, then they would be. Like you said at the beginning of the race, this track is rather hard to pass on. So if this was an F1 show, then it'd be like, well, we got a DRS train going here, nobody can get past anybody, and that's kind of what you have here and stuff. You know, the track doesn't lend itself well to passing and stuff. But you know,
But
I've
you can
watched.
definitely keep up with the car in front of you.
Yeah, and man, I tell you, we'll be actually in the series that we're going to run. We're going to be doing some oval tracks as well. And boy, these guys get after it. And the AI are very competitive, and it's not just a professional. I can guarantee you that. You know, I've done a lot of testing, and it's quite pretty impressive. And but you just have to make sure you have it set up the right way so that you don't have, you know, everybody. You know, it's weird. It's like it set every AI driver all his different attributes. You know, his skill and his just how he drives, and you know, you can have all different settings. And but then it's weird because it's almost like another part of the setup. There's a little slider there that said, well, just set a range. You know, the like say have it like throw out a number like 88%, between 88 and 90%, and it'll split up that whole field in that range. But the other neat thing about it is you go from track to track, and it won't be the same guys that are up the front. Like when you go to this track, you might go to Atlanta, and these 2 or 3 guys are at the front, and then you may go to Daytona Road Course. Okay, this guy's up the front, you know, and it's I like how it's the unpredictability of it. So it's not like you're gonna.
Sure.
And sometimes it's almost even better at it than in the real world. Like you said, how many times have you been in the league and there may be 2 or 3 guys that you know they're going to be up the front? And even like watching Formula One, you expect to see Red Bull and not Alpine, Red Bull, Mercedes, maybe Ferrari if they don't run themselves off the road or whatever. But and Aston Martin nowadays, you know, but you expect to see them up the front, you know, and so I don't know.
It's kind of like in the BioTE Cup series, like you expect to see, and I mean no offense to anybody here, but there are a few guys that you always see up at the front, such as Patrick Hernandez, Riley Hoots, Brendan Mathia, Lucas Lyons has won 2 races now.
Wow, that's good.
It's like you seem to have an idea of who's gonna be up there. I don't know, on a long green flag run, let's say.
Yeah.
On a short green flag run, yeah, guys are gonna get up there and they're gonna start racing for the lead. I remember at Las Vegas, Parker Parrish, who's leading this race right now. Parker Parrish was racing Kevin Winker for that lead. What was it, with 20 or 30 to go? And that was actually pretty cool to see. I'm not gonna lie,
yeah.
It was.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Go ahead.
No, yeah, because you know, you always want to see some close racing, but then and I also like that even the new guys getting into the act. You know, Timothy Bates. You know, well, I tell you, those first couple of races I saw him in, and I'm like, man, he came here to race, guys.
Oh yeah, for sure. Auto Club was crazy. He was up there. He ran in the top 10 for the entire race, I'm pretty sure. And he was aggressive. But it's really fun to see all of these guys that are doing so well in this league, and you know, getting after it. James Dewar, kind of a newer guy, missed last week. I don't know what happened there, but it's fun getting new people involved, and that is a very pink car, not gonna lie. But it is fun getting these guys into the races and everything.
Absolutely, man. I tell you, because you know, the league is growing and whatnot, and that's good to see. And you know, you don't have to have 30, 40 guys to have great racing. you know, but you like to see the league continue and look like things are going good there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, always wanting to watch the league grow, and I would definitely argue that the first three races of the season, with this one being an off week, I would argue that these three races have been some of the best racing that we've had in the league. And like all of last season, it's been a lot of fun to be a part of, and yeah, there's some aggressiveness, there's some wrecks happening and everything like that, especially at the beginning of these races, but we've also had long green flag runs. At Auto Club, we had 2 green flag pit stops before or in between cautions, so it's definitely a good product that we're putting out on the track, I would say. But hey, we've been talking about the cars, we've been talking about the league, we've even been talking about a little bit about the track, but let's talk a little bit about what's going on in Italy and why we're doing this race at Imola.
Absolutely, man. I tell you, and it's just looking at like this is from, I want to say it was the 17th or the 18th of the New York Times poster enough, but there's so much going on over there right now. They've had some unprecedented raining. Not like it was like any kind of tornadoes or tsunami or nothing like that. It's just a very unusual amount of rain, and I think they've got about the half of the average annual amount of rain in about 36 hours fell in that region. I mean, and that's crazy, and but I tell you, they've really been struggling over there. It was a good decision there for F1 to cancel or maybe postpone the race till a later date if possible. But those folks, they're going to need some time. They're literally a big cleanup ahead of them. If anyone's seen any of the images online, seen plenty of places that have flooding in them, but it's just amazing. That region is, what would you say? I mean, it's a very picturesque region around there. You don't think about big cities and things like that when you think about it. It's more like, what would you say, rural or something of that nature. But
yeah, it's about an hour away from the closest city.
Right, exactly. And I tell you, it's just probably perfect for just flooding conditions. If you get a lot of heavy rainfall such as what they've got, and it's just terrible. So it's like it's a shame that I think they had maybe at the last count that I had, maybe 8 people, a handful of people, maybe 8 or so. Hopefully it hasn't risen and folks lost their lives, but they've had thousands of people had to abandon their homes. And of course, is usually the case with flooding of that nature there. But I tell you, the rescue efforts and everything are just going on around the clock. I think they did have a little bit more rain in the forecast over the weekend, but I don't think nothing as bad as what it was. And hopefully they're on the backside of that now, and hope to see things start to literally dry out there and get going with the recovery.
Yeah, even the garage area, I saw pictures of what was going on over there at the racetrack, and even the garage area is filled with probably 6 or 8 inches of water. So like that area is in major flooding, and hopefully the coast not being too far away, hopefully all that water is able to travel down towards the Mediterranean Sea, to the east, and maybe help that flooding recede a little bit quicker.
Absolutely. You know, like the main thing. What was that river? That's there's literally a river right there behind the track. that you know, like you said, you saw the water coming in there on the track, before I saw that picture, I didn't think that the flooding had actually got that close to the track. It was actually starting to creep up in there too, and I'm like, you think to yourself, why would anybody in their right mind even think about trying to have a race? You know, we got semis sitting there in you know, almost, you know, ankle deep or knee deep water. I'm like, really? This kind of has the signs of like, you know, dude, I don't know if we want to do this today, this weekend.
Right. It's pretty tough trying to hold a race when, you know, the cars would be literally floating.
Yeah,
if you did.
yeah. But they at least this time, you know, they got everything shut down before they tried to do something like they did at Spa last year. It was an absolute, and I feel bad for the fans because they got rocked. You know, they did the two or three pace laps behind the safety car, and then called it a race. Sorry, not going to get a refund or anything, or not even a thing where, okay, you can. I think in this case with this situation, you can actually, I think the folks who purchase tickets, they can get credit for the next race, and just
They got a full
use
refund.
them. Well, yeah, I think you had a choice: a refund or a credit towards the next race or something. I guess, or was it just a refund period? Oh, could you? I wonder, could you transfer it to the next race?
Well, from my understanding isn't a whole lot of knowledge, but my own understanding was that they all got a full refund for their race tickets. And I tell you what, F1, when F1 goes anywhere, those race tickets are really expensive.
Yeah.
So that is a really good thing for F1 to do.
Absolutely.
For the racetrack to do.
I mean, I know it's supposed to be the pinnacle of motorsport, but you know, they want to attract the young audience and the new audience, you know, the folks from the Drive to Survive era, folks that haven't been following Formula One for years, and but it's like, okay, you got these folks on television. What if somebody wanted to come to a race? You know, not exactly something that's affordable for your everyday Joe out there. You know, it's not like, and I don't say this with put down any like NASCAR stuff. It's not going to a stock car, you know, and I'm actually glad that they don't, you know, charge those kind of prices stock car racing and whatnot. It's kind of ridiculous. Hundreds of dollars for it. I mean, you gotta obviously most of these places you gotta fly in there from some other country, and you know, I mean, it's not, you know, it's kind of apples and oranges, I guess, though, too, because you know we enjoy all kinds of motorsports here in the States, stock cars, open field, whatnot, and we enjoy it. We have the luxury of them, you know, traveling from state to state, you know, which is obviously different than going all around the world and everything. And so that's something that you can definitely appreciate for sure.
I just went to the Kansas Speedway race a couple weeks ago, and that race cost me $186 for like everything. Everything.
Pit pass and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
And that same weekend, F1 went down to Miami.
Yeah.
Those tickets I heard cost well over $1,000.
Oh yeah.
For bad seats.
I know. I was about to say, hey, you could stand outside the fence for like $300-400, huh? But I don't know, man. That's just like it just seems like a contradiction. Okay, you want to draw people into the sport, but why are you pricing out so many folks? And you know, there's nothing shameful about saying, hey, I can't afford that. You know, I don't have 2-3 grand sitting around just to go to a race. That could be a once in a lifetime event for somebody, to go to a race, and God forbid that it gets canceled like what's happened here at Imola. Then it's like you take, like you're taking almost a risk of sorts.
Yeah, well, at least Imola decided that that offering the full refund was for the best for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
But back to the race, Parker Parrish has absolutely driven away from Alan Bledsoe, and Timmy Bates right behind him. Talking about myself in the third person feels weird, but that's okay.
That's why it's easy for me to do it, because I'm not there, really.
Yeah, you're not in there.
It's funny. I've seen some guys do this, not this exact thing. I've seen some guys actually calling a race on their Twitch channel while they're behind the wheel racing or something. And I mean, hey, do what you want to do, man. That's the
right.
That's the beauty of YouTube, man. There's no limit to what you can do.
Well, I mean, there is.
Well,
there definitely is.
In the rule, you know what I mean, though. Within the rules and the parameters and stuff. But,
right. Rules of conduct.
Yeah, but as far as creativity and whatnot, I tell you, it's pretty awesome, though.
I agree. Yeah.
The fuel must not have been set where they would have to stop, because, like you just said, Parrish, he really got a lead down, 1.2 seconds over Bledsoe. But
and Bledsoe's getting some pressure from Bates there.
Yeah. Man, this track really is hard to pass on, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
you look at places,
especially like on the front stretch. Anytime somebody goes to the inside, they're defending that spot. They're preventing the person behind them from drafting, drafting up to them, and it's disallowing the car basically the car behind them from being able to get next to them. So the draft has a real serious effect and an impact on how the race is playing out. And it looks like literally everybody that, like, exactly where you started is where you're gonna finish. That's just kind of how it looks right now.
Yeah, and you've actually seen that in some real world racing, and at some tracks, in some situations, as well. As, like you say, a lot of it, the track kind of lends itself to that situation. But like I said, it wouldn't. I don't know. I mean, like I said, the main reason I picked the track was because of the things that have been happening. I just wanted to do this race in support of the folks over there in Imola, in the entire region. Romagna. I know I'm hacking that up. I can never get the second part of that right in the region, but. It would have been nice to see the Formula One race there, just to see, every time we go there, you kind of wonder what's going to happen. A couple of years back when Valtteri Bottas was racing with Mercedes, and George came up there, George Russell still in the Williams. He tried a little pass on the outside. That didn't go too well for either one of them. Not at all.
At least it wasn't a couple of teammates that took each other out.
Yeah, that's a cardinal sin. Thou shalt not wreck thy teammate.
Even if it's for the race win, especially in F1.
Yeah, tell that to Sebastian Vettel and Mark Webber. Everybody, multi-21. Remember that?
Well, there's a reason Webber isn't in Red Bull the Red Bull team anymore.
Oh boy. Yeah, politics galore, man, I tell you. But I mean, in that particular circumstance, he was they were instructed, the whole station, he was supposed to get that win for that race. And where were they at? Turkey, I think it was. Or was it Turkey or was it Azerbaijan? I forgot where they were. But he was supposed to get that race. I want to say maybe it was Turkey, but because Azerbaijan wasn't around, they hadn't started racing yet. But you know, racers are racers. Sometimes it's hard to hold them back.
Yeah, no kidding. Looks like we've got 3 people watching this race. Anybody want to say anything in the comments?
But yeah,
Kelly Thomas is holding up Patrick Hernandez. Well, the 3 cars behind him, really. Hernandez, Lyons, and Bojanic.
Yeah, I tell you, we will be running at Daytona, and boy, you're gonna see some exciting racing there, because obviously the layout's so different, and it's not just I don't know, it's not even just passing like you wouldn't expect it to just be, oh well, they'll just pass each other on the straights. There's opportunities, even in the infield section. And
oh yeah, especially with that kink there.
Yeah.
Between the horseshoe turns.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun to race at that racetrack, and it's a very technique-oriented track, so it really lends itself to some great racing.
Mm-hmm.
But Bledsoe here, getting almost harassed by the 6 of Timmy Bates. He has been all over him for the last 4 laps. Really all race, but specifically the last 4 laps, just like trying to get around him, trying to find a way.
Yeah, and I look at it, and I don't know. I mean, maybe after the dog leg, maybe if you can outbrake somebody going down to the ultimate corner there, or and you still think about going down to turn 1. I know you're going around that kink, and then you go down to turn 1. It's all about outbreaking somebody if you're really gonna go for it, And
yeah. And then you're taking a serious. You're taking your own life into your hands at that point.
Absolutely.
Like, do I want to wreck or do I want to pass someone?
Absolutely. But yeah, these guys are definitely work out a little bit. That Kelly Thomas, he's not okay. Yeah, he's still there behind Hernandez, because Hernandez was the one that was holding up the line there a little bit at first. I would wager that these guys would probably be doing more passing if the opportunity afforded itself a little bit better. Because I'm thinking, like, say you're going down through here right now, and you're making this, you're sweeping around, and now you're coming down to that first turn.
And see how Kelly Thomas goes to the inside.
Yeah.
He's defending that position that because Patrick Hernandez got a little bit too close to him there at the end of the straightaway.
Yeah. It's a weird layout. It's just, I just don't, makes you have to, I'm gonna have to go back and look at some real world racing and see where would these guys pass at on this track to really see. And who is that? Brendan's in the chat. What's up, buddy?
Oh, hey, Brendan. But the DRS zone is there is one. The first one is on the front stretch. Basically, right after that last that last 90-degree turn before the start-finish line.
Yeah.
DRS zone goes until turn 1. There for the first kink, and then there's another DRS zone, I believe, after like turn 6. Is that turn 6? I think it is.
Yeah.
Or turn 5, something like that. But the really sharp turn right at the top of the racetrack.
Right. It's 6 or 7 there. Yeah. It's an interesting layout of a course. It's funny because those 2 3 laps to go.
Pitting.
So they are all pitting. You know what it is? I probably didn't have the fuel set, or whatever way the fuel was set. So everybody made their processional. This is actually the first time I've seen them do this. But I kind of imagine Parrish would win the battle off of pit road. He's already on the way out.
Everybody just took fuel only.
Yeah. Because that's the thing about these cars, during endurance racing, those tires do they normally change? How often do they change those tires? Like when you switch drivers and whatnot? Or?
Yeah, they change the tires every other pit stop for fuel, and when you do a driver swap.
Mm-hmm.
So, but ultimately, fuel takes the longest, at least on 100% fuel tank. That takes the longest to refill the car. It actually takes longer to refuel the car than it does to change the tires.
Right.
Unless you're strategizing and you're planning for the next pit stop or for the end of the race.
Absolutely. And that's the other thing, like I said, that you can program into these AI cars. You can also have each team have a slightly different parameter as far as strategy. So that would keep everybody from knowing what they just did. But I think in this situation I just didn't. I might have actually had it set for whatever amount of fuel. It must have been set for 60%, I guess, for everybody to that long and come in with only like 3 or 4 laps to go.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Honestly, we've been doing this. Well, I don't know. No, that's about right. Yeah, 47 minutes on stream.
Mm-hmm.
That was about a 25-30 minute run.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably about right for 65%.
Right.
But we're on the last lap. I'll let you call the rest of this.
Oh yeah, well this is Parker Parrish. He's going down at the far end of the track there, about half a lap to go here. 3.2 seconds behind Alan. And Alan just looks like he's just going to drag Timothy Bates to that podium finish. But Sean McLaughlin, he's right there. I'm looking through the field and we actually have had some movement. Paul Bajanic and Joe Nerton. Paul Bajanic, he gained a spot. Joe Nerton gained 3 positions since the start of the race. So there was some passing going on, and you know how it is with to feel a large course like this, you can't see everything exactly when it happens. And I'll keep an eye out on my radar future for that, because I do have notifications set up. I can show when somebody passed somebody. But it's all over here now. Coming to the checkered flag, it will be Parker Parrish. He is going to take the checkered flag here at Imola.
Alan Bledsoe second, Timmy Bates in third,
and
as they cross the finish line.
So yeah, that's a good finish there for the winner. And go ahead and clear out some of this stuff here so we can get the results up here. Clear out the screen, and I think everybody looks like everybody has already crossed the line. So let's bring up the results for the whole event there. Parker Parrish, your winner, Alan Bledsoe second, Timmy Bates third, Sean McLaughlin fourth, Brendan Mathia finished fifth, Riley Hoot sixth, Kelly Thomas seventh, Patrick Hernandez eighth, Lucas Lyons ninth, Paul Bajanic rounds out your top 10, followed by Joe Nerton 11th, Jason Montevideo 12th, 13th, Ryan Cruz, Kevin Winker 14th, Matthew Wilson 15th, 16th, James Durer 17th, Greg Moore 18th position, Hunter King and James Brosker in that 19th position. So yeah, folks, that is going to do it here for us here today, and thanks for tuning in. Of course, this is going to be on YouTube anyway. It'll be saved in the BioTE Cup Series playlist, and so folks will always be able to go back and check it out. But yeah, so Alan, thanks for joining me, man. I tell you, made it a lot more bearable. You know, it's always easier to have somebody to talk to doing any kind of road course, whether you're Watkins Glen or Sonoma or wherever. But yeah, thanks for joining me in the booth, man. Appreciate it.
Oh yeah, and I feel like we absolutely could have kept going. Like there is so much to talk about with these types of races. It almost feels like a podcast, but with racing in the background. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's you know, it's funny because that's the thing I like about, you know, this type of racing, and like, well, Formula One in particular. I mean, obviously I love the racing, but I love the commentary, you know, and just them talking about everything that's going on in the race. And we're going to be getting our schedule together for these guys. They'll be doing in their actual season that they'll be running, and so stay tuned for that. And we'll be coming with that pretty darn soon here. So for all of us here at Rice Motorsports TV, want to thank you again for joining. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, click that notification bell so you'll know every time we go live. And
do it now.
Yeah. So folks, thanks a lot, and we will see you later on.